Hello, FocusTune beta testers. This is Michael Tapes, and thank you very much for taking the time to help test our application. This is FocusTune, will become FocusTune 4. The label is FocusTune 3.1. That's just an internal number, but this is FocusTune 4 that we're talking about. And it's got some very nice changes, and that's what I'm going to show you here. Nothing's changed up here. Import, select all, remove to remove files from the list, not from the disk, just from our list. Rename, which is a very powerful feature. Open the folder where the source files are, and of course quit. So let's just import some files. These are from a customer, so the lighting will be customer lighting. And the interface looks the same, but we've made a lot of changes in terms of the buttons. We eliminated the zoom drop down here, and you zoom now by right-clicking, and it zooms to where you right-click. So wherever you right-click, it will zoom to, and you'll see that'll be very useful. We have clear crop, last and all, so if I do the last two clicks wrong, I can say last, and it removes the last two clicks. Or I can say clear crop all, and it clears the entire crop. So right click to zoom. Okay. The process files used to say graph and process files or something like that, and now process files processes the files in graphs, but we just label it more simply. And then the make graph, if it has enough data, it will do the graph without processing files. In this case, it doesn't have enough data, so it's not going to do that. Okay, I'll take you into the other side a little later. So now, because of the zoom, we have a much better ability to click accurately. So we'll zoom in to make the first left click, and it says left click to select target, upper left-hand corner, right click to zoom, so we can zoom in around that. And now we're at 1:1, so we can click. I right click to zoom in on the bottom one, and we do that. And now, instead of doing 3 points on the ruler, we do 6 points on the ruler to make a much more accurate selection. So if we zoom into the ruler, in this case, I can get the first 4. Now the new ruler, which I'll show you in a minute, has red dots, all 6 red dots, but this is the old Generation 3 ruler, and you can just click on the upper left of this rail. It's not critical. You notice I'm not using the red dot. As long as it's symmetrical, we're actually, in terms of vertically symmetrical. If I click here on the top, then on the very bottom one, I want to make sure I click on the same thing, and here. I could have clicked over here, for example, as long as I did the same thing on the bottom. So we click that. The 0 line doesn't relate to the 4 corners, but we just want it to be on the 0 line. So it can be anywhere on the 0 line, but 2 points on the 0 line, so we accurately tell FocusTune the 0 line. I'll double click to zoom in down here, and remember we're out here and down here. I'm going to click this on the red dot incorrectly just to show you, and I can see that this sweeps out, so that's in the wrong place. So I'll say clear crop last, and I'll go back in and click here, which was the symmetrical click. Okay, so that now shows up on the right, and we can go ahead and process files. I'll skip ahead. Nothing new here other than it's an increased accuracy in terms of the better cropping of the ruler. And we see normal what we see here, so the range is going to be someplace between -15 and -10. And we'll go into this in a separate video another time in terms of the specifics. I just want to go over what's changed. Okay, so now if we go over to the right-hand side, like in the previous version, we can clip on sharpest, and this will show us the focus mask for sharpest. But we have a couple of new features here. We can also right-click to zoom this. Now, in this particular camera, which is a Nikon D750, it's not that high-res that it matters, but sometimes on very high-res cameras, all you would see is a close-up of this, because we show this at 1:1, so the zoom would let you get a better view of that. So we can zoom, and again, this is by location. So if I zoom up here, it'll, well, in this case, it's not going to matter that much, but it's zooming to center to wherever I click. So I'll show you this set depth of field is a new feature. So we have back, sharpest, front. We had that before. Now we have this set best depth of field. And we also have the ability to hide the focus mask. So in case you want to look at the ruler without any focus mask getting in the way, I don't think it gets in the way, but if you want to see it native, you can do that. And we have the same swap button we had before that swaps between any two views. So if we go, let's say, front and then we go sharpest, we can swap between them. And if you zoom out, you get a different perspective on that. So that's useful. Okay. Like before, we have previous and next, which moves the to the next picture in the list. And you can see the effect that it has on the focus mask. But now we also have back and front, and this meaning it moves towards the front, not in the order of the list, but the next frontmost picture. Okay, so that's going to jump around on top of the list. In some cases, they'll be in the right direction, so we can move that around. Okay, and then go back. Okay, and this zoom shows you whether you're at the 50% or the 1-to-1 zoom. Okay, let's bring in the next series of photos, which is going to be the single step photos. So that's in the B folder from our customer. If he didn't move the camera, the crop's going to be the same, and it is, so we can just go directly to process files. I'll mention something that our pass detector, we would do 2 passes previously, and now after 1 pass, if it's good enough, it cancels. It doesn't do the second pass, and likewise, if it's not good enough after pass 2, we do a pass 3 in this case. So we have more accurate results in terms of how many passes we need. It can be as small as 1 or as large as 3, depending on what's needed. So here we see that minus 14 seems to be the value that this camera defines as the best, sharpest image. So let's go to sharpest over here. And you'll notice that looking at the image, and by the way, the new optimized ruler lets you see the focus mask much better. So we've optimized the focus mask for use with the new ruler, and you'll see that when I bring up a new ruler shot. I just wanted to show you how to use the old ruler. But if you're using this left-hand checkerboard, you can see that this picture is biased to the rear in terms of focus. Now, how can that be if FocusTune is saying this is the sharpest and the best? Well, this is the sharpest image of the target, but how the depth of field is laid out by the lens designer, is a separate issue. So if you would like to have the depth of field more centered, so let's move this front a couple of notches, let's see. Okay, so now I'm going to go to sharpest, and now I'm going to go to swap. Okay, so you can see the depth of field moving forward. So if you prefer this setting, what you can do is say set best depth of field, okay, and now you can graph it with the best depth of field, and now you see that it'll show you that this is the shot that we picked. So in this case, while 14 is the sharpest picture, it may be the way the depth of field draws on this lens that you want to set it to minus 16. So this is a big advance. So once you have a best depth of field set, you can either graph the normal sharpest graph, or you can graph the best depth of field graph. Okay, you can clear best depth of field in case you want to set another one, so you clear it, and then it'll say set. And you can also, when it's set, let's just pick an arbitrary position here. So I say set depth of field, we can go to sharpest, and I can go right back to the best depth of field shot by clicking this button. Okay, so let me show you the new ruler. I'll pause the video. I've loaded up a high-res camera, Nikon D7200 with a 50mm 1.4, so this should show what I want to show. This focus target is just an experimental one that we were fooling around with and rejected, so ignore that. I'm going to clear the crop. I'm going to zoom in and pick this, zoom out, zoom in for the lower right, zoom in, and now I can probably get the two top on one zoom, so I'm going to get those two. That's there, and this is here. Zoom out, zoom in for the 0 line, so we'll get that, And this is the production Generation 4 ruler. Zoom out, zoom in, so you've got these 6 dots. And okay, so we'll process files. And we're back. This is the result. So it looks like we're somewhere between a +1 and a +2, because this is kind of, this one's off the curve, so it looks like a +1. But let's go to the sharpest image. And here's a case where, since this is such a high-res camera, you might want to look at this zoomed out. And once again, where you click. So if you want to look at type, you can click and get the type, or you can click and see this. If I go to front and back, you can see how well the focus mask works with the new ruler. Here is sharpest, and this is a good case also to check if we want to move this front a little bit and equalize this and call this, let's swap between them. There's the sharpest, there's this best depth of field, maybe go front a little bit more. Well, that's as far as it goes. So if we wanted to set the best depth of field, we would do that and graph it. Of course, it would be no surprise that it would be down here. Okay, so we showed the zoom, and we showed the front and back, and how the new ruler really shows nicely here. Okay, so I think that's the that should get you going for the beta. So the new features are zooming and selection in the left window, clear all and clear last click, make graph, sharpest, best depth of field, a separate process files button. The processing, we don't have to go to a pass 2 more of the time. We do a more finely resolved comparison of whether we need a pass 2 or not, and we'll go to a pass 3 if we think it'll be helpful. And over on this side, we have the best depth of field, hide focus mask. Again, here's a case. Let's go to sharpest, and if we want to zoom in and take a look at that without the focus mask, we see the native image. Okay, new ruler, back, front, all types of great things. Okay, thanks a lot for your beta work. This is Michael Tapes signing off. Let me know if you have any questions.